Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Beyond Resilience Life podcast, the Resiliency during COVID-19 bonus series. This is your host, Dr. Lydiana Garcia. And today, what we're going to talk about is being gentle with ourselves in the midst of this whole pandemic. But before we do so, I want to remind you that anything that is discussed in this episode or in any of the other episodes of the Beyond Resilience Life is not meant to be a substitute for psychotherapy, psychological treatment, medical treatment. And if you decide to do any of the recommendations or anything that I mentioned here or in any of the other episodes, to please consult with your primary doctor before doing so. All right, so now let's get started. So if you have been hearing some of the episodes of this series, I start with accept what is, or that's one of the first ones. And at the beginning, when I started recording this was when everything was starting to happen. Now that this is for in LA, we're finishing week 4 of being in quarantine. I just want to bring it back into how we have to constantly be accepting what is. And many of us expected by next week to go back to work or something like that. I think they said originally until April 13, and now they're extending it. And there's so much uncertainty. And going back to accepting, I feel like it's important for us to accept what's going on, accept that this is an unprecedented times for the majority of us, meaning the pandemic and being in quarantine all together as a collective is definitely impacting each one of us in a different way. And probably you're feeling like all sorts of different feelings, and the grief about what you have lost or what you can lose, it's very present. So that's one of the first things that I think it's so important, of just continually accepting what is. And then the other thing I wanted to bring is how this whole thing is bringing old wounds and is bringing like different triggers for many of us in terms of old traumas and maybe being placed in kind of like quote unquote quarantine or being restricted. Think about that from that perspective, about being restricted and not being able to do things that you want to do. And also for any of you that have suffered with financial difficulties, this is definitely a time that is bringing a lot of that. I know for me, that's one of the things that is bringing a lot. There's also that whole piece of if any of you had any kind of physical traumas or any loss recently with a family member, that can be bringing a lot. And I can, the list can go on and on. But, if you're seeing, it's like it's bringing all these things to the surface. So it's giving you the opportunity to kind of see different wounds that are there and continue to need some healing. And at the same time, we don't want to go there because we're still in this middle of it. So it's like a lot. So I wanted to just start with saying what we're going through, it's a lot. It's very complicated. We're all going through it together. And yet we're experiencing it in a different way, depending on many privileges factors. So for today, what I wanted to talk, because I don't want to like delve into like the, talking about all the pain and all that. This is more about how can we be more gentle with ourselves. I've seen a lot of posts about how to use this time to learn a new skill. And if you don't do so, then kind of like you're being lazy-ish or something like that. And also kind of like over focusing on the positive about, the weather is, like the smog has reduced and how the earth is getting and all that. And then it not necessarily kind of bringing to the surface about the inequalities, how the majority of people that are suffering the most are the Black and brown communities. So, it's again a lot. And when you think about the pressures that you add into your life and everything that you're going through, and what you're going through, I want to bring this different perspective of how to be gentle. I think it's so, so important. Again, all of us are going and experiencing some kind of impact as a result of this. And one way of managing it or trying like a different perspective is how can you prune out things that are not needed? How can you notice the inner discussions of your inner parts and inner voices about you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this, and the urgency that it can bring, like I was talking in the previous episode. And at the same time, after regulating, how can you start including a different voice, more of gentle, of what are the things that are needed right now? What are the needs, the things that are your basic needs, primary stuff, and things that you need to focus? And how can you prune everything else? I have not pressured myself at all to create that much even content, like videos and stuff, because I am co-parenting, co-working, 8 months pregnant, and with an almost 5-year-old son who's also having his own reaction because he's not going to school. You know, it's a lot. So right now I'm trying to lower my expectations, and that's why I'm doing this series very simple, shorter episodes unedited. So that's the way that I have started being more gentle with myself. And whenever I hear that little voice like, wow, you could be doing this, you could be doing that, you could be doing this. Now I'm at capacity, not all the times, but a lot of times I'm at capacity that I can see it. I can validate, like, I see you, and I'm choosing right now to be more gentle with myself. And this has brought so much more space and peace in figuring this out. And I would definitely invite you all to explore all the different tasks that you're doing on a weekly basis. Like, and this can bring again, like, if you want to be like the perfect mom, the perfect caregiver, the perfect now homeschooling, which is technically not homeschooling because homeschooling is not like this. For those that are having children learning from home, it's kind of like school in your home during a pandemic while parents and caregivers are still trying to work or figure out a way to bring money. So it's not homeschooling. You're also not working from home, how a lot of people can work from home. Because I mean, I do work from home a lot, and this is not working from home. I don't have the same time, space. We're sharing the room, the sounds outside for when I need to record, and the freedom that I had of my week because my son was in a preschool, it's completely out. And I don't have any childcare or any other help. So this is not working from home. This is a very different time, and we have to stop calling that way, because then it brings this whole competition. Like, are you doing all this art and craft with your child? Are you doing all this kind of things? Are you teaching all of this kind of thing? It's just like, let's stop. Let's please just stop. Can we please be gentle with ourselves? Gentle with this is very hard times. Can we be kind to each other? I'm seeing a lot of like, oh, these hoarders, they took all this stuff, and at the same time we don't know their situation. We don't know if they needed to do because they knew their job's going to be out, so they needed to buy everything in order to be able to sustain their families during this time that we have no idea how long it would be. It's like we're all trying to survive, and there will be a lot of things. And how can we be a little more kind to ourselves? I mean, it would be ideal to be kind to others, but start with yourself. Even right now, as you're listening this, can you kind of do a scan from your head to your toe and kind of notice where you're holding that tension? And using either like an imagination, like a guided visual of light, the color that you like using golden light or white light, but whatever color you like, coming all the way from your head to your toes and just like taking it all out. And just taking a deep breath with me at this moment. Just inhale, hold it, and exhale. Let's be gentle with ourselves. Let's keep looking about spaces and ways that we can take out expectations. And this is an ongoing process. On a weekly basis, I keep taking things out. If your child has to watch more TV right now, let them watch it. Yes, the research says it's not good, but you're surviving. So this is a balance of you and them, and you have to be fine, or at least try to find ways that you can cope with this, because if you lose it, we have no idea how long this would last. And if you lose it, it will be way harder right now because of being in quarantine and all that, trying to figure out how to like bring yourself up. So let's like each day be gentler with ourselves. If we didn't finish something, let's be gentle with ourselves. Let's observe that other voice and be like, okay, I hear you. And kind of like whatever you have to do to also listen to the other, like I'm being gentle with myself. And that's what I felt called to speak today in this episode. So I hope, you can explore that. You can look internally about that, about different things that you can be more gentle with yourself, be more kind with yourself. I wish you the best. I hope you stay safe. Before we end, I want to say that I am in the process of figuring it out, because right now I'm just like letting whatever source and information of the different topics that come into my mind that I feel like the collective needs, or I'm seeing with my clients, or I'm seeing with the people that I interact, or even with myself. But I am open to ideas about any kind of topics that you are interested. I know I got some inquiries about like for parents working with their children during this time, and I will be doing like some episodes on that. And I'm also in this, like I don't have all the answers. But if there's any other topic that you feel that is coming up for you, that would be great if you can send me either a DM via my IG accounts at dr.Lydiana Garcia or at the Beyond Resilience Life, or you can send me an email to info@thebeyondresilience.life. So those are the places that you can get a hold of me, and that would be great if you want to send any information that's going on for you, so that way I can create a little short episode on that. The other thing that I wanted to say is that if you feel that this is helpful for you, that this messages that I'm bringing in this series is soothing or helpful, or is giving you a different perspective, I would really appreciate if you could help me share this information out there. How? By sharing it with your loved ones and friends. You can do it via social media, via however you want, like, word of mouth. But I really need your help in this, so we can get this information out there more. I feel like there's so much more need, and I wish, the people that are really going through a really hard time can have an opportunity to get this information and more, or even ask me questions that way. Again, I wish I could do videos and be more out there, but I can't. So my bandwidth is smaller. That's why I'm doing this, being gentle, or just doing this unedited shorter episodes, because it's the time that I have. So, but I want to be able to be of service with my time and whatever. So going back to, I would really appreciate if you can share this information. The other thing is for people to be able to get a hold of this. And this is a bilingual episode, so I'm going to record the Spanish right after I finish this English one, so you can also share it if you have family members that are Spanish speaking, and then you guys can talk about it, because it's basically almost the same episode. But it would really be helpful if you can rate it and review it on iTunes, if that's where you're listening it, because that way it would move this show a little bit more into like, when somebody's searching for it, it could come up, and they can also benefit from this information and any other future information that I'm bringing. So that's my favor, or I'm asking for a favor from you. If you're benefiting from this, how you can help me to spread the word. And that's basically it. Again, please stay safe, and I'm looking forward to continuing the conversation, and be gentle with yourself. Until next time, bye-bye.